So I'm in one of those unique kind of time zones where I joined the military right after the Cold War ended. So most of my senior leaders then were framed in the Cold War. And but then most of my career was actually post 9/11, where I'd been in the military about 7 years when 9/11 happened. And then I saw the growth of the military and sort of the change and how the military and political science and all of that really mattered. And then, while I was in the Navy, I actually, during the global war on terror, I was assigned to a task force in East Africa, which was a combined joint task force, which in layman term means that all of the services represented plus our allies, which is the combined part of that. And I got to work at some of the highest levels of government, working with embassies, coming up with a strategy like how the US military would engage in the countries that we were supporting. So now kind of fast forward where I'm not a traditional academic where I've been in academia since I graduated from college. I'm one that came in after a full military career with a lot of practical knowledge. So I always feel that when I'm giving examples to students, I'm able to look back on my military career. And even if I'm talking about something that I was involved in sort of like the tactical level, now I know enough about having worked at the high strategic level, I can explain it from a way like, this is probably what the decision makers were thinking about. Because most of our courses at Norwich, everyone's comfortable in their tactical level thing, whatever it is, like being an infantryman, driving a warship, flying a plane, being in a submarine, being a medic. Everyone's comfortable there. What they're not comfortable with is getting out of that and looking up at the next level of warfare or the next level of organization where they're looking at really kind of the broad operational view or even the high strategy where, these decision makers are not making these decisions in a vacuum. They're making them based on recommendations from very smart people on staff. So a lot of our a lot of our students become staffers at these major organizations, whether it be like the White House, senior combatant commands, dealing with like what's going on in the Middle East or down in South America. And it's those individuals that are going to make a difference in the future. And then they'll be senior leaders someday as well. So that's where like I see the connectivity between my entire Navy career and then how I'm teaching here in Norwich, where I'm able to help them navigate that kind of very practical perspective from where they're sitting, and then looking at through a lens of a much higher level. And I think that one of the key things about education is that we're not here to tell people what to do. We're here to help people learn how to think about things. And I think Norwich does that in a very, very good way, especially, I'm blessed teaching courses in strategy and policy where we're really walking people through like, how do you process information? How do you make decisions based on limited resources, but objectives that may or may not be in black and white. And, that's the sort of thing that I think really, when I think of like education versus training, this is all about education and, how to think and how to think through processes.